What about the slam that Sheckler had?
Dude, that's
crazy.
actually in this documentary that is in Rolling Away, this documentary that I just finished working on for like 3 years.
Wow.
That was one of the worst moments that's the worst moment that I've ever experienced being in a truck, because Ryan's my friend, he's mic'd. It's a spot I put on the table, not thinking that Ryan would. Like I had brought someone to that 15 flat 15 hubba to grind it years before, and that dude had gotten smoked.
Who was that? Can you say?
Yeah, I can say his name was Victor Zanoni, and he was a flow dude for like Foundation for a while.
Okay.
It's just kind of fizzled out, like happens a lot,
Regular or goofy? Was he trying to?
He was trying regular, same stance, so front side, yeah.
So
front
how'd he
side.
get smoked?
He jumped off on the flat where right before Ryan got rocked on the beveled edge and was committed. He had been jumping off to the flat to bail.
Oh my god!
If actually the first trailer, if you can, I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but the first trailer for I Heard Skateboarding, that slam was in there, and he like hit his chest on it and went onto his back and slid down the set of stairs.
Wow.
Actually defecated his underwear.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
it was pretty.
Well, that thing is hefty.
It's a
super hefty.
It's a nightmare spot. It's a
Yeah.
nightmare spot. So that was that's that is it this one? I don't know if it's in this one. Here's the thing, there was a completely different lineup for this video, my first video. And then it just kind of fell apart. and then so like half these dudes, Goose was in the first one, Gustavo Morales is the legend. Dan Knapp, Tony Carr, there's Dan. Oh, that trip was anyway, I'm having flashbacks. Josh Sierra, who big flipped the downtown triple set.
Oh yeah, that's right. Wow,
that big flip is so good.
Yeah.
What video is this?
This is I Heard Skateboarding. It's
I Heard Skateboarding.
my first skate video that I did on my, like as a director, shooter, editor, that whole thing.
Okay.
But this was, again, I'm gonna blow it on the year, but it was so rad because it was one of those things where it was fully independent with these guys, and then we premiered it at the Downtown Independent, and I remember just pre-Instagram, no, maybe early Instagram, but like we just posted it and then showed up at the theater, and there was just this line around the block, and we ended up having to do 2 screenings, and it was like my parents showed up in like dressed up for like a real premiere, and there's people like doing like whippets in the parking lot and shit. Like it's just like this total anarchy skate thing. So yeah, it was one of those big but yeah, there was an original lineup to that in the trailer that wasn't the one, but yeah, that slam was in there.
So
it's on the internet, I'm sure.
So Sheckler's slam.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
that was one of the
I'm sure
craziest
it ruined,
slams to watch. Yeah,
it took the wind out of the sails. Of
yeah,
that thing.
yeah. I mean, it was everything we never wanted to happen on the show, but that's the stakes of that show. Like the Facemelters show was like you're watching them live, and Ryan stepped to a really, really gnarly spot live. And what's crazy about that whole situation too is I would do things a lot differently now, and like hindsight's 2020. But he was getting really close before we were live. He got there and he started just trying it. So I don't know. Part of me is like, if we had just let him run it and ran it fake live, but we had this whole thing about being authentic and really live. And then yeah, that try happened, and like I could hear him screaming, and that's my friend. It really was like hard to decide if he was. We didn't know if he was okay. I mean, he ended up fracturing one of his vertebrae. He tore ligaments and stuff, and I mean,
Both ankles. I think.
yeah, both ankles. And he was wheelchair for a while after that. Like, it was a really bad moment, and the sound in the truck of him, like the scream and like the actual pain and the panic, like it was really hard to decide what to do. I actually cut away, and then we ended up going back and like talking to him when we figured out it was okay. But it was like, Eric was on the ground there, and he was like, you gotta get out, and I just remember, and we should have probably pulled wide and figured out what was happening, but that was a terrible moment,
We're trying to find the clip actually, because but it's hard to find online. A lot of ETN stuff is just not there anymore.
It's in the documentary that's coming out, but yeah, that's not.
But this is like a sideways.
Yeah, this is somebody's cell phone. That's the slam. Yeah, it's so brutal. I mean, that's got to be, you're almost 20 feet above the bottom stairs, and his feet. So his heels land on the bottom stair, and then he like folds his back and sits like it's nightmare case scenario, because he went full speed and was like committed, but it just. The truck bobbled off that beveled edge, and
I think we talked to about it with him on his episode that he came on. It was crazy.
Yeah, he's a tough dude.
He is.
I mean,
he is, man.
that's
Look at him now, dude. He's still going harder than he ever
dude.
was.
Have you guys seen the part yet?
Yeah.
You guys saw the part? I have the finished version of it as of last night, and man, I'm super proud of him. Like to be at this stage, and like one of the things we cover for this part is his ACL reconstruction that happened a couple months into filming this part.
Here's a better angle, by the way.
Oh yeah,
it's still a little horizontal. Story or whatever, but
Goodness.
it is so brutal. Yeah, man,
that thing is gnarly, dude.
Yeah, and this breaks my heart too. He's like, okay, let's see if we can stand up, and you just hear it in his voice. He's like, nope, can't stand up. You're just like, oh, I don't know. That thing is so gnarly to step to. The board slide, yeah. The board slide that went down is gnarly, but putting your trucks on that is a different world.
Goodness, man.
It sucks, man, because you're live and everything.
Yeah.
Like it's like I said, I think ETN, man, it had the potential.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good. The content was good. Eric Bragg's amazing.
Definitely.
At
Love Eric.
yeah, he's amazing. He's got the brain for it, right?
Yeah.
But
I think people just didn't know
wasn't
what they
there.
were signing up for.
Yeah,
At the
I mean,
beginning.
and it's in the age of like nobody. Content is free now.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
nobody's paying for this. If I'm paying for it,
No, you gotta
this better
have
be like Netflix.
You
man.
got to have
Yeah.
a lot of content,
Yeah.
bro. You got to
Especially-
stack up.
yeah, especially skateboarders.
Yeah,
you know,
sure,
like,
for sure.
Yeah.
the skateboarders won't buy anything. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Exactly.
there was a big hoopla over it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, for sure there was.
And
But-
I remember we kind of like, it felt like we didn't have parents for a while, and I remember like, the numbers were good, and we were like, projections look good, and then we started, hearing you're spending too much money and things are getting cut back, and then we're making different types of shows, and then the subscriptions started falling off,
Right.
and like we were doing cool stuff. You know what I mean? Like you were on,
a couple things,
yeah,
yeah.
and you ended up saving the day for that.
For Mark, when he
yeah.
decided not to do the poker thing.
Yeah,
Mark Johnson, yeah.
Yeah.
which was he worked his ass off on that show
Mm-hmm.
and was great. But then I mean, I don't know. Like I think
Just timing and scheduling, I think he was probably a little bit off.
But you jumped in last minute and hosted
For
the
sure.
finale, and that was amazing. Like that was
I was a little nervous, but
That was
definitely you guys made me comfortable. That's for sure.
you crushed it. But yeah, it was man. I don't know. It just kind of like it lost its way, And I think if we had been able to keep like more of that live, exciting stuff going. I mean, but of course I'm the live guy. I'm always going to say that.
Sure.
I really liked a lot of the shows that we were doing.
You could also feel like that. I mean, I felt like they were banking on all the live stuff because all the other stuff was like really hard to shoot, long days, the poker game.
Yeah.
And the game show was great. There,
Yeah.
Brad, the Four Wheels
That was
live.
really
Yeah, and we kept trying to do that again, and with Eric as the host. Oh
Yeah.
my God, yeah, it was, and we had that whole set built and everything, and then I think like it was so expensive to run it the first time. They were like, we kept postponing that season, and things people wanted to see weren't coming back, and I mean, dude, we did.